Good evening, friends.
Good evening, sir.
So next we are going to see is module number 2, is associative memory. Shall we start? I think how many people have joined? 42. Okay. So still 18 more people has to join. So we will start. Okay. Next module is associative memory. So what we saw in the module number 1, we saw what is hard computing, what is soft computing, then we saw what is Bacall-Spitz neuron, then we saw the difference between the artificial neural network and the human brain, and then we saw about Hep's network and Hep's learning rule, then we go with perceptron network, then single layer perceptron and multi-layer perceptron, and then we go with the backpropagation network, BPN, backpropagation network. So these are all the various topics we have covered in the module number 1. So module number 2 is associative memory. So what is associative memory? So what is associative memory? So it is considered as a content addressable structure. So associative memory is considered as a content addressable structure that maps a set of inputs to a set of outputs. So it is nothing but a content addressable structure that maps a set of input patterns to set of output patterns. For example, so we visited some place. For example, we may visit some tourist spots. For example, like Mysore, Kashmir, Simla, like that we may visit within the country. If that is the case, might be you may visit that place 10 years before. For example, 2010 or 2011, 10 years before, you have visited that place. But after 10 years, you are having a chance to visit the same place. You are having a chance to visit the same place. Now we are trying to correlate. So whatever we have seen today, and we are trying to correlate that with the earlier description of the location, earlier description of the location. So we are trying to map, or we are trying to correlate with the current situation to the previous situation. So that is nothing but your content addressable structure that maps a set of input patterns to a set of output patterns. So content addressable structure is a type of memory that allows the recall of data based on the degree of similarity between the input pattern and pattern stored in the memory. So degree of similarity is nothing but, so whenever you say that, so before 10 years I visited the same place, but I don't find that much improvement. So the place is still as it is. Like 10 years ago, still it was not improvised. So like that you may say some comment, or in some places you may have a comment that so before 10 years there were nothing in this place, but you see now there is lot of differences, there is lot of changes, a lot of growth is there. So like that you may compare the set of input patterns to the set of output patterns. That is nothing but your degree of similarities. In the case of R, you can see that whenever you go to some place, you find some strange people, or you find some people, and you may also inform them. So I have a doubt that whether we have met before, sometimes earlier. So your face is very familiar to me. Your face is very what you can call it as familiar to me, and your face is very known to me, like that you will say. So that is also considered as degree of similarity. So we saw a person and we try to interact with the person, and we may say that, so you are very familiar to us, you are known to me, like that we will describe, or we will chat with that particular person. So that is also a form of content addressable structure. There are two types of associative memory will be there. So one may be considered as auto-associative and next may be considered as hetero-associative. So what is the difference between these two? Auto-association and hetero-association. Auto-association means it tries to retrieve a previously stored pattern that most closely resembles the current pattern. So it is trying to retrieve a previously stored pattern that most closely resembles to the current pattern. So I have seen something in the current scenario and I am trying to map or I am trying to correlate or I am trying to retrieve my current pattern with the previously stored pattern. So for example, you are preparing for your examinations. Okay, either CAT examinations or FAT examinations. So totally 7 modules are there. So approximately you take 5 questions in each module, 5 topics in each module, 7 into 5. So 35 topics you need to remember for your FAT examinations. But once you see the question paper, all 35 is not required. All 35 is not required. Only out of 35, only 10 questions are required, or 7 questions are required, or 8 questions are required. So what we are trying to do is nothing but whenever you see the question paper or whenever you receive the question paper, whenever you go through the question paper, okay, so you try to connect. You try to connect what has been boycotted by you or what has been stored in your mind. You are trying to retrieve those things in the form of hints. So what you will do, so question number 1, these are all the items to be written down. Question number 2, these are all the items to be written down. Question number 3, these are all the items to be written down. Like that, so out of the 35, you select that 8 contents, answer contents alone, and then you try to project that in the question paper. So you will put question number 1, this is to be written. Question number 2, this is to be written. Question number 3, this is to be written. Some people may do like that. Some people may do what they know. So they forget all other things. So they will remember only these 3 things. That they retrieve only these 8 questions or 8 answers, and they try to pen down their thoughts in that answer script. So that is considered as auto-associative. So it tries to retrieve a previously stored pattern that most closely resembles the current pattern. So in the case of hetero-associative memory, the retrieved pattern is in general different from the input pattern, and not only in the content but possibly also in type and format. So it will not be same. So here, so it may be previously stored pattern. It tries to resemble the current pattern, but in the case of hetero-associative, okay, the retrieved pattern is in general is different from the input. For example, you may think that may be a triangle, but instead of triangle, it may be a 2-sided shape, or it may be a 4-sided shape, like that. So the retrieved pattern itself is nothing but different from input pattern, not only in content. Content in the sense is nothing but not only in the text or description of the particular pattern, but also in type as well as in format. Completely it may be in different type, completely it may be in different format. So neural networks are used to implement these associative memory models are called neural associative memories. So the neural network which is trying to implement these 2 memory models, one is considered as auto-associative and the next one is nothing but hetero-associative. So these types of associative models can be considered as the neural associative memory. So it is a content addressable structure. It tries to map the set of inputs to the set of outputs. So content addressable means it refers to the memory organization where memory is accessed by its content and opposed by an explicit address in the traditional computer memory system. So this same thing is repeated in this slide. So next one, example of an auto-associative memory. So what you understand here, the figure shows. So this is the image. So this is a database. I am trying to search for a name called Christopher Columbus. I want to search for a name called Christopher Columbus. So I am giving an input pattern as like this. Instead of this correct spelling, okay, I try to give an error input. You can see the spelling of Christopher. So here the spelling of Christopher is different. Here the spelling of Christopher is different. So O is missing over here. So Christopher Columbus I have given as an input, and it tries to analyze the content addressable memory structure. This database is considered as content addressable memory structure. It tries to go through the content addressable memory structure, and it tries to find out it is as close to that. So okay, so it may think that, so whatever the input we are searching, there is nothing but your Christopher Columbus is nothing but equivalent to Christopher Columbus. There may be an error in the input pattern, so it automatically corrects the error and it throws the output as Christopher Columbus from the content addressable structure. So here the memory contains names of the several people. If the given memory is content addressable, then using this erroneous string Christopher Columbus as the key is sufficient to retrieve the correct name called Christopher Columbus. So in this sense, the type of memory is robust and it is fault tolerant. It is robust in the sense, so whenever I want to search something in a Google, so Google is also a content addressable structure. Whenever I try to search for something in a Google, but if I type it in a wrong name, so it automatically error corrects it and it will ask the terminology you are looking for is here. So whether you are looking for this, it will ask in the first line of the Google page. So that is nothing but the error correction capability. So that may be the best example for that. So an associative memory is accessed by its content opposed to an explicit address in the traditional computer memory system. So it is accessed by the content only. So it is trying to match. So CRHIST is there. So here also CRIHIST is there. Christ is there. Then instead of OPHER, here it is PHER. So it tries to search in this memory structure and it tries to throw the output as Christopher Columbus. So this memory allows recall of information based on the partial knowledge of its contents. Contents is nothing but your memory structure, content addressable memory structure. So even though you supply an erroneous input, it will throw a correct output to the user. So associate memory is a system that associates two patterns. Why? Because X is considered as input pattern and Y is considered as output pattern. So always it associates with the two patterns. One is called X comma Y. So X is considered as input and Y is considered as output, such that when one is encountered, the other one will recall. Encountered in the sense, when you supply one to the content addressable memory structure, it will try to recall the other things. When X is given, Y will be recalled, or Y is given, X will be recalled. So the associative memory, again, this one, the auto-associative and hetero-associative. With respect to auto-associative, so you consider that Y of 1, Y of 2, Y of 3 up to Y of M be the number of stored pattern vectors, and Y of M is considered to be the components of these vectors representing the futures extracted from the patterns. This may be considered as the Y of M is considered as the components of the vector, independent vectors, Y1, Y2, Y3 up to Y of M. So this is considered as component of this independent vector, so which is trying to represent the features extracted from the patterns. Feature in the sense is nothing but, for example, if you consider a letter A. So what are all the features of letter A? What are all the features of letter A? So you take this A itself. What are all the features of this letter A? So you have a slanted line, and you have one more slanted line, and you have a sharp horizontal line. So this three put together constitute a letter called A. So that is considered as features. If you take O, what is the feature of O? It is a closed circle. Closed circle is considered as feature of O. If you take C, so it is nothing but an arc. It is considered as an arc. So this arc may be considered as horizontal oriented arc. So if it goes like this in the upward direction, it is considered as vertical oriented arc. If it goes like this, it is considered as horizontal oriented arc. So that is considered as the feature of this letter called a C. So like that, each and every vector pattern, each and every vector pattern, okay, which is stored in the content addressable memory. So it is trying to represent the features extracted from that pattern. So based on the feature set only, so how many features are mapping? How many features are mapping? Based on that only, it is trying to extract the pattern set, whatever we supplied as an input over there. So the auto associative memory will output the pattern vector y of m when inputting a noisy or incomplete version of the y of m. So inputting noisy in the sense is nothing but error character or wrong character. And incomplete version is nothing but in order to search any particular term or any particular thing. For example, you want to search for VAT means. So whenever you try to type VAT in the Google tab, so it will give out all possible combinations for VAT like VAT Chennai, VAT Vellore, VAT Bhopal, VAT Amaravati, like that. It will try to give all possible combinations. That is considered as incomplete version. So whenever I try to fit in incomplete version, not complete version, instead of typing Vellore Institute of Technology, I will say that Vellore means. So it may try to map that and it will try to give it as Vellore Institute of Technology. That is considered as the ability or the functionality of an auto associative memory. Next one is nothing but the heteroassociative memory. So here the memory function is very generic in nature. So we have a number of key response pairs. Key response pair in the sense nothing but C of 1 and Y of 1, C of 2 and Y of 2, C of M and Y of M. So C is nothing but your input pattern and Y is nothing but your output pattern, or this is nothing but input and this is nothing but your output. So the heteroassociative memory will output a pattern vector Y of M if a noisy or incomplete version of C of M is given. Here it will output a pattern. So this heteroassociative will output a pattern of vector Y of M if a noisy or incomplete version of C of M is given over there. 1 second. So in the case of heteroassociative, it is a key response pair where C of 1 or C of 2 is considered as, or C of M is considered as an incomplete or noisy version. But in the case of heteroassociative, it will not give an exact replication, but it will give a completely different format. So neural networks are used to implement this associative models. So the well-known associative neural network models are considered as linear associator, which is the simplest artificial neural associative memory, and the next one is nothing but your half-field model and the BAM network, which is most popular models in the artificial neural network. So BAM is nothing but bidirectional associative memory. So whatever may be the model, either it may be a linear associator, or it may be a half-field model, or it may be a BAM model. Okay, so all these neural architectures, okay, it requires certain information to keep in the memory. So that is nothing but working of the auto associative models or working of associative memory models. Yeah. So if you take associative memory is a storehouse of associated patterns which are encoded in some form. So you can see here in this example, this is considered as a storehouse. this violet color is considered as a storehouse. So it tries to have some mapping. If it is triangle, it will be like this. If it is 7, it will throw like this. If it is plus, it has to throw this. Some mapping is done. So when a storehouse is triggered or excited with a pattern, the storehouse is triggered or excited with a pattern. Any one of this pattern, if either triangle, 7 or plus means triggered or excited with a pattern, then the associated pattern pair is recalled or appears at the output. So for this triangle, what is appeared? This T is appeared. So whenever I supply an input pattern, so in this storehouse or the associated pattern is nothing but this T. So that is considered as recalled pattern, or this is considered as output pattern. So the input could be an exact or disordered or partial representation of the stored pattern. So this is either it may be exactly as it is, or it may be distorted in nature, or it may be partial representation of the stored pattern. So the associated pattern pairs are like this one, and this one. So the association symbol is represented by double-ended arrows. So associated patterns are stored in the memory. So whenever you say that associative memory, okay, so you have two classes. So one is auto-associative memory is known as auto-associative correlator, and heteroassociative memory means it is considered as heteroassociative correlator. So this auto-associative memory is known as auto-associative correlator, and which is the same good old story is repeated. Retrieve a previously stored pattern that most closely resembles a current pattern over here. So some examples are given over here. See here. So this is an example of heteroassociative. So heteroassociative means whenever an input pattern is given, so it may recall an associated pattern, but it is completely changed in the text, content, shape and type. So it is a triangle, but here it is completely changed as a rhombus or completely as a parallelogram, whatever may be the case. But here in the case of auto-associative memory, so this pattern presented distorted pattern is like this. So it assumed that, so it may not be a triangle. So since it extends over here, so it may be like this, like a rhombus or whatever may be the case. So there is nothing but auto-associative. So whenever a distorted or whenever an incorrect pattern is applied, so it tries to throw or recall the close resemblance pattern in the output of auto-associative memory. But in the case of heteroassociative memory, so whenever any input pattern is applied, it tries to throw a different form of a recalled pattern, which is nothing but done by an heteroassociative memory. So whatever may be the case, either it is an auto association or hetero association, whatever may be the case. So we need to know certain basic terminologies with respect to auto association memories. One is considered as encoding or memorization. Next one is retrieval or recollection. Next one is error and noise. And the next one is memory capacity. And the last one is content addressability. So first one is encoding or memorization. Next one is retrieval or recollection. Third one is errors and noise. Fourth one is memory capacity. And the last one is content addressability. So what is encoding and memorization? Building an associative memory means constructing a connection weight matrix W such that when an input pattern is presented and a stored pattern associated with the input pattern is retrieved. So for that we require a process that is nothing but we need to construct a connection weight matrix which is called a encoding. So we are trying to build a weight matrix W that is considered as encoding process, or it is nothing but memorization process. That is nothing but for the examination. X may be the preparation and Y may be the examination where you are trying to answer for this. So whenever you try to outperform well in the examination, end semester examination, you need to prepare well or you need to memorize well. So for that, I am trying to establish a connection weight matrix W. So whenever during the encoding for an associated pattern X and Y. So X is nothing but set of inputs and Y is nothing but the set of output patterns or set of recalled patterns or associated patterns. So Wij of k equal to Xi of k into Yj of k, where Xi of k represents the ith component of pattern Xa and Yj of k represents jth component of pattern Yk. So next one is, in order to construct a connection weight matrix W, okay, so we need to sum up the individual correlation matrices, which is nothing but W equal to alpha into summation of Wk, where alpha equal to proportionality or normalizing constant. Next is nothing but retrieval or recollection. First one is preparing for the examination. That is nothing but your memorization. Preparing for the examination is nothing but memorization or encoding process. Next one is after memorizing the answers, we need to present that in the examination paper. So that is nothing but your retrieval. So whatever you have studied, we are trying to retrieve it and we are trying to put it in the form of an answers in the answer scripts. So after memorization, the process of retrieving a stored pattern for a given input pattern is called a decoding. So the input pattern is nothing but the questions and retrieving the stored pattern is nothing but out of multiple answers, the one answer which I am going to express or one answer which I am going to pen down my thoughts in the answer script, that is nothing but the decoding process. So given an input pattern X, the decoding or recollection is accomplished by input J equal to summation of Xi into Wij, where input J is weighted sum of input or activation value of node J. So then determine the units output using bipolar output function. So if Yj, the input of Yj is greater than or equal to theta means then it returns a true value. If it is 0 means it returns a negative value, that is nothing but -1 value. So theta is nothing but your threshold. Next one is nothing but error and noise. The input pattern may contain errors and noise or may be an incomplete version of previously encoded pattern. So whenever we supply an input, the input may be an incomplete version or it may contain some errors or noise. When a corrupted input pattern is presented, the network will retrieve the stored pattern that is close to the actual input pattern, or whenever there is an presence of noise and errors results only in the mere decrease rather than total degradation in the performance of the network. So whenever we supply a noise and error, it results only in the mere decrease rather than the total degradation in the performance of the network. So it will not be able to recall the stored previously encoded pattern. So in the case of associative memories, they are considered as robust and fault tolerant because many of the processing elements perform highly in parallel and are distributed in computations. Why they are saying that it is highly parallel means, so I have multiple nodes in the input layer, I have multiple nodes in the hidden layer, so all the inputs are given in a parallel manner and each and every node accepts all the input at the same time and they process it in a same time. That is considered as highly parallel and distributed computations. Next one is performance measures. The memory capacity and content addressability are the measures of associative memory performance for correct retrieval of the patterns, current retrieval of the stored patterns. So memory capacity refers to the maximum number of associated pattern pairs that can be stored and retrieved correctly. That is nothing but how many percentage of characters you have recognized in a Tamil software. For example, I supply certain handwritten inputs to that particular software. So for example, 200 characters are supplied means out of 200 characters, how many are retrieved correctly? Either you may retrieve 100 characters or you may retrieve 50 characters or you may retrieve all 200 characters. That is nothing but the memory capacity. Maximum number of associated pattern pairs that can be stored and correctly retrieved is nothing but memory capacity. Next one is nothing but content addressability. So it is the ability of the network to retrieve the correct stored pattern. Whenever I supply certain input, so how much percentage or how fast or how well the network, the associative network can able to produce or able to retrieve or able to recall the correct stored pattern, that is considered as content addressability. So here we can go to the next one. So this and all already we have seen. Directly we can go to the, yeah. So one is, if the output vector is same as input vector, it is auto-associative. If output vector different from input vector, it is considered as hetero-associative. To find the similarity, we use the Hamming distance. So whether the input and vector and output vector are same, so we are using a method called a Hamming distance method over there. Suppose we have two vectors. One is considered as x and other one is considered as y. Then Hamming distance HD of x comma y will be given by summation of xi minus yi modulus, and here it is 1 by 2 into summation of xi minus yi modulus. If xi and yi belongs to the interval 0 comma 1, then it returns this value. If xi and yi belongs to an bipolar input means, then it returns this particular value. So Hamming distance basically denotes a number of places where two vectors differ. Hamming distance basically denotes the number of places where two vectors differ. So again, training algorithm for pattern association. There are two training algorithms for pattern association. One you can use Hep's rule, or other one we can use outer product rule. So what is that Hep's rule? Already we covered. This is widely used for finding the weights of an associative memory neural network. Here the weights are updated until there is no weight change. So algorithmic steps for Hep's rule. Step number 0, initialize all the weights to 0. Step number 1, for each training target input output vector pair. Target input output training target input output vector pair means, so x will be equated to s and y will be equated to t. Okay, that is nothing but input output vector pair. So here in step number 1, I am trying to map this training target input output vector pair, that is something but x to s and y to t, and we are going to perform steps 2 to 4. What is step number 2? Activate the input layer units to the current training input. That is something but I am trying to equate it x to si, and activate the output layer units to target output, so y to tj. Then step number 4, I try to perform the weight adjustments. So wij new equal to wij old plus xi into yj. So when I try to update my weights until there is no change, no weight change. So whenever there is no weight change, then I am going to update my weight values. So start the weight adjustments. Wij new equal to wij old plus xi into yj, where I takes the value 1 to n and j takes the value 1 to m. What is outer product rule? This is Hep's rule. What is outer product rule? So the same thing we take. So one is considered as training and other one is considered as input vector, training input vector, and another one is considered as training output vector. So input is s1, s2 up to sn. Output is target t1, t2 up to tm. So outer product rule is nothing but is a product of two matrices. One is nothing but capital S. Outer product rule, capital S equal to S transpose, and capital T is nothing but small t. So which is nothing but, so S1, S2, S3 up to Sn into T1, T2, T up to Tm, which will be given as S1, T1, S1, T2, S1, Tm, like that. So it is nothing but your weight matrix. That is nothing but connection weight matrix for an associative memory. W equal to S into Tm. So in case of the set of patterns, S of P, which is I am trying to map it over T of P. So there's nothing but set of input patterns to the set of output patterns, target output patterns. So P equal to 1 to small p takes the value 1 to p. So we have s of p equal to s1 of p plus s2 of p plus up to this, and t of p equal to t1 of p plus t2 of p up to tm of p. So for the weight matrix wij, so it may take the value. So since this capital S equal to S transpose, so similarly S transpose of I of p into T of pi, where I takes the value 1 to n and j takes the value 1 to m. So what is auto-associative memory network? The training input and target output vector are same. In the case of auto-associative memory, so that is defined. Whenever I supply an input pattern, it is trying to recall or retrieve the same targeted output pattern which has been mapped in the content addressable structure. So the determination of the weights of the association net is called as storing of vectors. So whenever I try to determine the weights, or whenever I try to find the connection weight matrix, that is considered as storing of vectors. So the vectors can be stored and can be retrieved from the distorted input if the input is sufficiently similar to it, and even though if I supply a noisy input. So the next performance is based on the ability to reproduce the stored pattern from a noisy input pattern. So this is the architecture of auto-associative memory network. So this is nothing but our inputs. Small x1, x2, x3 up to xn are the inputs. So capital X1, X2, X3 up to xn are nothing but the nodes in the input layer. Y1, Y2, Y3, Y4, Yn are nothing but nodes in the output layer, and this is nothing but the set of outputs. W1, W12, W13 are nothing but the connection weight matrix between the input and the input nodes and the output nodes. That's why here they call it as weights in the diagonal can be set to 0. Weights in the diagonal can be set to 0. These nets are auto-associative nets with a no self connection. No self connection is nothing but a, so self loop is not there with respect to any of the nodes. So the training algorithm for auto-associative memory network is nothing but the same as that for Hep's rule. So here we can use any of the two learning rules. One, we can use it as Hep's learning rule, or if you go with outer product rule, so you can use that outer product rule also. So except that there are same number of output units as same number of input units. You can see 3 nodes are here, means you may have three output nodes over here. So step number 0, initialize all the weights to 0. Step number 1, for each vector that has to be stored, I need to perform 2 to 4. Activate each unit of the input. Yes, I am equivalent to xi, and output unit y I am equating to, sorry, it is a typo. Yj is nothing but it should be sj, and adjust the weight values. So weights are nothing but wij new equal to wij old plus xi into yj, so which is nothing but wij old plus si and sj over there. So testing algorithm, same thing. Auto-associative neural network can be used to determine whether the given input vector is known one or it is an unknown one. So if the input vector is known one, then we can able to retrieve, or we can able to recall the stored known patterns, and if it is an unknown one, means the input vector is an unknown one, means so we may not able to get a stored known one, but we may able to get something in a different manner. So the net is set to recognize a vector if the net produces a pattern of activation as an output, which is the same as one given in the input, means then that is considered as a termination or convergence of the network. So step number 0, I need to set the weights obtained from any of these two methods described above. Either I can go with outer product rule or I can go with the Hep's learning rule. Step number 1, for each of the testing input vector, I need to perform 2 to 4. For each of the input vector pattern, I need to set the activation function, same story. Then step number 3, I need to calculate the net input to each of the output units. That is nothing but summation of xi wij, this position. xi wij, xi wij, xi wij. And then step number 4, I try to calculate the output by applying the activation over there. So what is the type of input I am going to supply? If it is a bipolar input, if it is greater than 0, I may return a true value. If it is less than or equal to 0, I may return a bipolar value which is -1. So next one is nothing but hetero-associative memory network. So the training input and target output are different. Here, in the case of auto-associative, the training input and target output vector are same. But here, in the case of hetero-associative, the training input and target output are different. The weights are determined in such a way that the net can store a set of P pattern associations. So each input vector S of P has n components and each output vector T of P has m components. So determination of weight is done using either Gibbs rule or outer product rule or here delta rule over here. So the nets find an appropriate output vector corresponding to the input vector, which may be one of the stored patterns or it may be new pattern. See here, net finds the appropriate output corresponding to an input vector. I supply certain input vector pattern. So for that, the network accepts that input pattern. It tries to process that and it may throw which may be one of the stored patterns. It may be already stored patterns or it may be a new pattern, whatever may be the case. So this is the architecture of hetero-associative. Similar to auto-associative, you have multiple nodes in the input layer, multiple nodes in the output layer, and the nodes in the input and output should match. Then only you can able to pair up, or then only you can able to correlate the inputs to the outputs for recalling the patterns or retrieving the patterns. So the training algorithm and testing algorithm are same. So in the case of testing algorithm, so step number 2, I initialize the weights from the training algorithm, because training algorithm means I can initialize the weights to 0, but if it is a testing algorithm, I am trying to initialize the weights from the training algorithm. Step number 1, I am performing 2 to 4, and what is step number 2? I am trying to set the activation for input layer units and output layer units. Then step number 3, I am trying to calculate the net input. Step number 4, I am trying to determine the outputs in the output unit. So for that, I am trying to apply the activation function over there. So yj of in greater than 0 threshold means then it returns a true value. If it is equal to 0, it returns a false value. If it is less than 0, it returns a bipolar value, which is nothing but -1. So there exists a weight interconnection between input and output layers. So the input and output layers are correlated with each other. So we can also use the following binary activation function. So we can use the bipolar. It is bipolar activation function. So yij, if it is greater than 0, it returns 1. If it is less than 0, so it returns a -1 value. With this, we will wind up today, and next class we will go with the problems. Okay. Is it okay?
Yes, sir.
Shall I wind up? Shall I conclude?